She didn't even get to practice.
I was nervous first time I interviewed Kevin too.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't, because do you remember what that was?
No.
Me neither.
I was nervous the first time I interviewed somebody live on radio. But that was, you're probably not even a go-kart yet, but we won't go there. So.
Why have you torn everything up in here? That thing's all wrecked.
Yeah, Kevin, why have you torn everything up in here? Kevin's our exhibit man, got to
Oh, okay.
blame it on him. So.
Here's what I want to know. I want to know how you get, like, that car and put it on, is it on, oh, it's on a little flatbed there. Okay.
Yeah, Mike Harmon, who actually does that car, you've probably seen the wreck, that's Mike Harmon from Bristol. He actually built that for us, because it didn't roll too good.
Gotcha, yeah. He's a lucky man.
A lot of folks in here are lucky. You know, when we started the concept of developing the hall, somebody came up with the idea, I think it was somebody from NASCAR actually, of at some point in time we need to document the history of some of the more exciting wrecks in NASCAR where, you know, they walked away, they raced again, et cetera, and Buzz McKim, our historian, and Kevin, our exhibits manager, started talking to people. We actually targeted doing it a little over a year ago as some other things came up, and then these are some of the things that became available. We've got about 30 videos. And the video that you're in, you actually won the race. Clint was the guy upside down and on fire.
Oh, yeah.
So we got his steering wheel here. So, and part of what it showcases is the safety that NASCAR has had even before the new car.
Right.
We've had, and you know, the video, I don't know if you've ever seen the video of Richard Petty hitting the wall in 1970 at Darlington, where the car just bounces off that inside retaining wall, and that's what brought us the win in there. So we're fortunate that all these folks walked away. Jeff Bodine's truck from the 2000 truck race at Daytona. You may remember that.
Oh, I was there, you know, and
were you in that race?
No, I wasn't in that race. I was getting ready to run my first nationwide race for Richard, and was standing on pit road, and there was one of the beams on pit road that holds up that held up that scoring stand in the middle of pit road. I was standing on that, and there was stuff flying everywhere. It hit the beam, and there was a lot of people lucky on pit road too that they didn't get hit by something. So that was a pretty crazy wreck there.
Yeah, they're a bunch of. What's the wildest one you've ever been in that you were on the bad end of it, not the good end, like the 07 Daytona 500?
Yeah, you know, it's in Talladega and Daytona. You hear a lot of people talk about the last wreck that we had a couple weeks ago. That's nothing new. I don't know why that was such a hot topic about the Talladega wrecks, but it was. So I'd say the worst one was probably the qualifying race at Daytona. I think it was 2005, and I got in the back of Jimmy Johnson, and he got sideways and clipped the front of my car and spun out, and I think Joe Nemechek hit me the first time, and Rusty Wallace hit me dead square in the door, and all I remember was, you know, after the second time I got hit, I was sitting down in the seat like this, and slumped down in the seat, and it broke my sternum, and you know, was pretty sore, but the valve cover was knocked off the car. It didn't look like that car by any means, but it was that was the hardest hit I've ever taken.
And when we opened this on Friday, we had three of the folks who were involved. Jeff was here, Mike Harmon was here, and Phil Parsons was here, as well as Brett Bodine, who's involved in safety for NASCAR now, but was also involved in the wreck with Richard Petty in 1988. It's actually his hood on the end there. You may have seen that wreck where Richard kind of cartwheel spiraled down the front straightaway, and Jeff's the one that ran into him. And Brett told this new story. He said when he hit him, he said it was his first Daytona 500. He said, I think I might have to leave the country because I think I just killed the king. And he said, now you can laugh about it now, but we got some fan questions. You have to listen to me 38 weekends a year, so let's let them ask the question.
How do you take pranks, and who is the bigger prankster, yourself or the other racers?
You know, I think everybody in the NASCAR garage has a pretty good sense for wanting to be a prankster. I think, you know, the biggest problem that you have when you start doing things in the garage is it escalates, every time somebody comes back to get you back. So it's been pretty calm lately because I think, everybody's worried about what the repercussions are going to be from the prank that you pulled. So it's you got to be careful if you're going to do something to somebody because it's probably going to come back on you.
This is a non-racing question, but since you're a new father, what's the biggest experience you've had with your new son?
Yeah, every day now, especially, you start to actually smile and move around, and so it's fun. And I tell people that I get a lot of these questions. But for me, it's been a great balance addition to my life, and it's made Delaney and I closer. But we've had a little bit of a frustrating year, and I think in years past, it probably would have been a lot worse, just because I would have been more frustrated because it's all you do during the week is constantly think about it, and you get mad. And now you come home and he doesn't care. He doesn't know any difference whether you've done good or bad. So by the time you get to Monday, you're in a pretty good mood, no matter how good or bad the weekend's been. And for me, that's been a great addition because I can stay a lot calmer and focus, in a little better frame of mind than what I could before when we had problems.
When we were here last year this time, Delaney was actually with you, and there was a lot of conversation about the transition that you guys were going through with selling KHI and those assets going to RCR, and she had mentioned y'all spending more time together and things. How has that transition been? Has it met your expectations, exceeded them? What's been one of the neatest things, in addition to Keelan, about that change?
Well, I think, we had to basically restructure our whole life, and some of it was around Keelan and trying to make sure we were as good a parents as we could be, and make sure I could focus on the priority of being a good dad, and her being a good mom, and being able to be the best I could be on Sunday, and we just didn't feel like we could do that, to the fullest if we had the race team. So, and with the race teams also came, the expectations of, we had 140 people, we had millions of dollars worth of sponsorship that you had to keep happy. So, it was also a good time for us to kind of be able to get out from underneath all that. So, a lot of things just worked out timing-wise. With Keelan coming along and the race teams going to RCR, and it allowed us to focus on our house, Keelan, and our time together, and it really made everything really go in a positive direction. So it's been great. Obviously, the things that you don't expect or that you can't really plan for are just time in general, doing what we do on a weekly basis. But even though we know when the race is going to start, but when the race is over, if he's hungry or diaper needs to be changed or if he's asleep, you're really not going anywhere. So really it's on his time, and but that's okay. And I never thought I'd laugh about being peed on or having some bodily function. The things that you learn as a parent. But it's been very enjoyable, and every day something new's happening, so it's been a lot of fun.
I hadn't thought about the dash to the airport, because that's the race after the race that is now dictated by somebody else.
There's no dash, and there's no dash anywhere anymore. So if you want to go work out in the morning, you got to plan a week ahead to make sure that somebody's there to watch him, or Delaney's not got something going on. So it's fun.
So, another question.
You kind of stole my question about owning a team, but do you miss driving all the extra races?
I'm still driving the same races, so that's the great part about when Richard took everything. I drove the same amount of nationwide races this year. Drove a few less truck races. Really the main reason that we drove so many truck races was to make sure that Kyle didn't win them all. So that was the thing that we had to protect while we had the Chevrolet backing, and they like to see us run more races. So I don't have that responsibility anymore of making sure that we win one more races than they did. So that's somebody else's problem now. So it's I enjoy the trucks. I'm going to race them next week at Martinsville and go from there.
Starting Monday after the Kansas race, what would be your normal schedule for the rest of that week?
Yeah, on a normal week, there's usually an appearance, but Monday at 11 o'clock we have our competition meeting at RCR. 3 o'clock we have a workout, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere in there, you may have an appearance somewhere in the country. Last week we went to Las Vegas. We left at 7 o'clock Monday night and did 2 appearances Wednesday, left at midnight, came back and did an appearance in Raleigh on Wednesday morning. So, it could be a week like that, but for the most part, Monday competition, workout, Tuesday workout, Wednesday you'll have another workout, and then Thursday we'll go to the racetrack and probably do an appearance in the market somewhere, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the track.
Following on Twitter, you know that it was a little boring at one time in Vegas between appearances.
It was, because I went there and I said, well, I'm too busy to gamble, and I think I had $200 in my wallet, and I went down and I sat down at the blackjack table in between appearances, and I said, well, I'm just going to see if I can have my luck going today. It hasn't been real great all year. So I sat down, and in 15 minutes I'd won $1,600, so I got back up and I was bored.
Not a bad way to be bored.
So usually you don't go to Vegas and come home with more money than you went.
I don't have that kind of luck when I go to Vegas.
Well, usually we don't have that kind of sin. I learned something. I learned that I need to gamble during the day so I don't drink too many beers and at night and give it all back. You got to know when to stop.
Hi, Kevin. What's your most memorable or unusual experience with the NASCAR fan?
Oh, man. We get to experience so many different situations, whether it be traveling all over the country and seeing things that you normally wouldn't see, or get to do what we do for a living. I think a lot of times we lose sight of the impact that we have on people, and what we represent to a lot of you fans, and whether it be kids or adults, no matter what the case may be. I mean, we were driving through the Starbucks drive-through on the way here, and the kid leaned out the window and he says, "Sir, I have to tell you, you have changed my life." And I'm like, man, sometimes you lose track of what you represent and the magnitude and impact that you have on people's lives. So I don't know that you could put that in general, in a perspective, because it's just different when you see a Make-A-Wish kid, and we met a kid that came as a Make-A-Wish child. They thought he was going to die, and the next thing you knew, he was in full recovery. And so it's those little things like that really impact what you do, and it's really not all about what you do on the racetrack. Sometimes there's a lot more meaningful and powerful things that happen off the racetrack that people don't see. So it's fun to be involved in that, and those are the things that we like to do.
Do you ever see yourself getting back into ownership if Keelan wants to race someday?
Oh man, I hope he doesn't want to race. The ownership side, it's a lot of work. It's a 24/7 type of job, and if you're going to be good at it, and that's why people like Richard are good at it, because they dedicate their lives to it, and being on both sides of it, I think down the road, if there was an opportunity to do it with somebody else's money, it would probably be fun.
I love how she worded that. If Keelan wants to race,
we're going to buy Keelan some golf clubs and see how that works.
All right, time for one last question, and appropriately so, our guest MC can clearly a Kevin Harvick fan.
Are you going to stay with RCR once your contract is up?
Well, I mean, right now, it's, you know, we don't even really get into those things. We just, we've got so many things that we're working on right now, and my contract goes through the end of next year, so, usually we don't even get to talking about those things until they get a little bit closer.
All right, we want to give you the last word. We know you got a lot to do. Appreciate you taking the time to come out and going to Kansas this weekend. Your last thoughts for our fans.
Yeah, just thanks for everybody, coming out today and seeing all these torn up cars that they've assembled on the floor here. I'm glad they're not leaking oil, so we don't have to worry about the EPA or anybody coming by and getting in trouble. But you guys, I appreciate your time coming out today, and thanks for coming, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Big round of applause for the drivers.